So you want to know how to check your English grammar with the ProWritingAid app? Then we're going to go ahead and deep dive into that today. What is ProWritingAid first? Well, in their words, it's a grammar checker, style editor, and writing mentor in one package. Full disclosure, this video is fully sponsored by ProWritingAid, but the nice thing is they've allowed me carte blanche to share all of my honest thoughts and some of the really cool features I like about the grammar checking app. You can get free access or 20% off premium access when you visit the sponsored link over at dalelinks.com/ProWritingAid. Okay, so they've got all integrations known to man. This includes Microsoft Word, Google Docs, Scrivener, OpenOffice, Chrome, Firefox, and so much more. You actually will find that on the main landing page for ProWritingAid. Today, we're just going to focus on Microsoft Word. If you happen to be using OpenOffice, it'll be fairly intuitive. Same thing, Google Docs. Here's how you set things up. You're going to go over to dalelinks.com/ProWritingAid and set up an account. Go to the main landing page by clicking the ProWritingAid logo in the top left corner. Download and install the add-in for Microsoft Word. Once the add-in is completely installed, restart Microsoft Word if it was already open. If not, you can just start it on up. Sign into your ProWritingAid account from there, and now you can just start editing. Now, our example today is going to be roughly an 1,100 word manuscript that I had help in putting together a blog, and it's going to be in another video. I'll share with that sometime here very, very soon. Anything below 10,000 words, ProWritingAid handles with no issues. Now, it tends to be a little slower and a little bit more laggy when you go above 10,000 words. Now, it's not terrible, it just means it's going to take a little longer to go through your longer document. So for this 1,100 word one, it's going to go pretty fast. Let's get behind the dashboard. So it's kind of nice when you get a suggestion on here, when you do the little drop down, it's going to show you a couple of different options. Now, if for some reason you're like, you disagree with it, you can always ignore it. You can also do what's called the disable rule, meaning that if there's some type of vernacular in your writing that you want to keep, let's say for instance some type of slang, you can always put the disable rule. Now it will give you a warning when you have the disable rule. It says, are you sure you want to disable this rule? This change will be permanent. Now I'm not sure how we go back and fix that. I'm sure it might be under settings. ProWritingAid might have that inside your actual dash, but I'm gonna say no, because usually I try to leave these things on, so I never use disable rule. And then you've got the two different choices. You can always go in here and fix it yourself. But usually when you want to say, for instance, just keep it to what it is. So it says, so you're going to lose a little bit in the process. It's telling me it's a little redundant, a little bit redundant. See what I did there? So what I'm going to do is just go a little in the process. Boom. And it went ahead and processed that. Okay, so if you wanted to do just a quick and dirty cleanup, that was one of the fast ways to do it. The nice thing is there's actually more. You can go further, deeper down. Now, I'm just going to say this, that right away. ProWriting is fantastic for doing editing. However, if you're planning to publish this work, I would almost always recommend that you get a human editor after you're doing ProWritingAid. It's fantastic, but there's still a human editor aspect that you want to involve in it. But let's say you're like, Dale, I can't afford that. What we're going to do is we're going to use some of these other reports. So I'm going to start way back up here at the top of my document. Since I've burned through everything I need to, we're going to go ahead and look for repeats. So we're going to hit all repeats. It's processing the text. Okay, so now it's really gone deep into things. So frequent 15 word phrases to share you 5 simple ways. Ooh, okay. So it's a little bit of repetition, but that's for good reason because it will be part of a blog post. So I may not remove that one. So we're just going to hide that. Close that on up. Let's see what this one is. Simple ways to make money on Fiverr with or without skills. Same thing. We're going to go ahead and ignore that one. So if you're like, nah, I don't. Ooh, okay. So apparently I had said it twice. Let's just say you're like, nah, I don't really want to. Why don't we do this one instead? So it gives us a different way to where it's not so redundant. And in the event that we just don't want this, we can always just ignore the suggestion. We could just close it on out. So we can go through all the repeats and such. That's fantastic. Now let's go into some other areas. Let's take a look at structure. Now, right away, you could see a lot of recommendations. 40% of sentences start with the subject compared to 61% in published writing. Sentences start with the subject. Okay. So it's going to show us this, where it needs to be fixed. Ooh, look how wordy that sentence is. So it picked out something that may be a little too long. So let's go ahead. I'm going to break this sentence up. Okay, so let's just say we've gone through this report and we've burned through each one of these things. We can go into other areas. So let's take a look at, let's say, consistency. So it's only capitalization consistency that it's flagging here. Ooh, so it popped something up here that my writer did a little bit wrong, where it had blog capitalized and one not capitalized. And I think for whatever reason, she must have thought that doing capitalized letter for blog made sense. But in this event, I don't find it to make sense whatsoever. And not sure why this is in all caps. It's like you're shouting at someone when you're doing that. So fantastic. We've got all of them fixed. We can always just hit that consistency again. And that one blog should be gone. So there we go. Wonderful. And then we go through each one of these things and figure out, okay, do some of these things make sense? So for instance, on this particular one, it's a little bit of a false positive because here is the title, Prayer and Positive Thoughts. Because it's a title, we're going to leave that as is. So in this event, what we're going to do is we're just going to ignore the suggestion. In the event that we want to report a incorrect suggestion, we can always put something like that in there, let ProWritingAid know. In this particular instance, I mean, I could have reported it, but to be honest with you, it's just a small infraction. It's not going to make too much of a difference. So we're going to go ahead and just hide that, collapse it. Okay, same thing, we can look through. Let's see spokesperson again. So maybe what we can do is report incorrect suggestion. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this. I used the word in a subtitle, or actually in a, we'll say chapter title, and it was used again in the content. It's triggering. I can't see the rest of my text here. A false positive. All right, there we go. And we'll just send feedback. Done. So it's not perfect, but if you give some recommendations over to ProWritingAid, they'll tweak some of those things so it better works for you. So we could go through each one of these things. Again, this will probably take a little bit of time, but let's go ahead. Let's take a look at plagiarism. So I'm going to go ahead and do a check here. Now, keep in mind, plagiarism is for one of the higher premium accounts, and you're allowed up to, I think, 2 in the course of a year. So, or 2 in the course of a month. I can't remember for sure. Okay, so the plagiarism check has pulled back some information. What it does is it scrapes all online articles. It says 1.4% non-original text found, 0% or 0 non-original quoted. Okay, so really at this point it's showing, and okay, so, and I will say nothing one way or the other whether that's going to be a good or a bad thing, but there's a demand for it. So that's a pretty common statement. So someone probably said it on one of these articles before. To be honest, I think it's rather forgivable. Some of you might be wondering, why do I want to do a plagiarism check if I wrote my own work? Good point. The nice thing is if you're publishing content over to Amazon KDP and you have too many of those specific triggers, KDP is going to push your stuff back and saying they found your content freely available online. So I would say in instances like this, I would want to go through and reformat that sentence and say it a little bit differently. So that way we pull out that false positive. There's so many other things that we can utilize. One of the things I would just recommend to you is in the event you find some feature on ProWritingAid, it's not working, or you can't find a specific feature, you can always hit the feedback button right here and it'll drop you on over into ProWritingAid, and then you can go ahead and fill out all the information and even do a little bit of search and see if you have some solutions here. I've never had to use this. I've been super happy with ProWritingAid since I've been using it. Hey, again, get free access or 20% off premium access when you go over to our sponsored link, dalelinks.com/ProWritingAid. Links down inside the description down below. And by the way, how does ProWritingAid measure up to, say, Grammarly? Actually, I talk about that here in this video right here. Or you can also take a look at this video that YouTube recommended to you. I will see you in either one.